Alright, chapter 11. Can the cheating be stopped? Life breaks the cheating story. Life magazine ran a feature article about the author and his method of life staff. The writer Paul O'Neill broke his long-concealed story of the cheating in Nevada blackjack. Thorp has been victimized by crooked dealers. He had backed off, thrown out, and by pit bosses has been seriously harassed by shills piled endlessly with the booze. Had significantly plug uglies. Only 2 occasions rendered spectacularly rubber-legged and not Google-eyed by knockout drops courtesy of his house. In preparation for this article, the O'Neill read my work, and he has spent a week with the last cruises studying me, my ideas about blackjack. Next, he spent 4 days with me in Las Vegas. I was there for a 1963 fall joint computer conference. He watched me pile up $420 winning for the 4.5 hours I could spare of my work to play blackjack. My bets range from $1 to $25, depending on the circumstances. Average $5 in dollars. During the 20 minutes, I posing a picture of the Tropicana, unrecognized by management. The tables calmly rewarded me with $62.50. Life of the article was painstakingly accurate and thoroughly researched by O'Neill. Even the authors of the Greenfell Jungle were unsure of probably due to insufficient information about the cheating situation. Dust jacket of the hardback painted on the most sordid picture of the other phases of Nevada gambling that concluded, ironically, the gambling equipment is possibly the only thing in Las Vegas that is really on the level. Replies from the Nevada life story cannot be ignored. There was cries of protest from our out west. For example, Edward O. Olson, chairman of Nevada Gaming Control Board in Carson City, wrote a letter in Life. Sir, neither your writer nor Dr. Thorp has evidence to substantiate such statements that Thorp has been victimized by crooked dealers in almost all of the major casinos in Nevada. Your writer's statement that Dr. Edward Thorp usually knows his nerve ends just when he is betting double the cross appears more worthy than scientific investigation than his system of counting cards in a 21 game. I think Life is labeled on the state of Nevada. Edward O. Olson, chairman of the State Gaming Board Control Board. On April 3rd, shortly after Life's article appeared, Mr. Olson's closed-up Silver Slipper Las Vegas casino in charge of cheating. Meanwhile, several casinos had made changes to the blackjack rules thought with the horde system Ed. But the right hand evidently did not know what Left was doing from about the time Olson's letter was sent and the Nevada newspaper announced Strip Casino closed by state Silver Slipper raided crooked dice charged by gaming of the officials. The story went out to tell how 5 dice were picked up on a routine check with a craps table, though all 5 dice were later found in percentage dice. The official statement, in fact, was signed on Control Board Chairman Edward Olson. An earlier incident cheating of the blackjack was reported on a second charge. Silver Slipper had no serious enforcement problems before last year. It appeared in complaints filed with the Gaming Control Board with the Gaming Commission. Undercover agents found dealer cheating at 21. The casino management was notified, but the dealer was fired. No action was taken at the time, but the incident now lists the second cause of action, current complaint. How card cheating can be stopped. In the first edition, I gave the detailed, simple procedure that could be used to stop virtually a blackjack cheating method described in this book. The suggestions seem to have fallen on deaf ears in Nevada. What can be done by private citizens or by federal government eradicating the cheating? Many people have asked me, and I have thought long and hard about the answer. The great stumbling block is how come evidence will stand up in court, something so intangible, sleight of the hand of the card cheating. What is needed is somehow is getting photographs and better movies of the cheats and action. Movies with ideally cheating movie that could be followed by frame. Photos should show the cheating moving in a cheat face for identification and clubs enabling the layout. Discouraging further cheating would be quite simple to publish pictures and account of the action nationally distributed book of magazine. I'm told the most particular for this still difficult way of obtaining the pictures would be sub-miniature Japanese video tube transmitting pictures by radio remotely located to recorder that might be legal difficulties. However, they understand that Nevada state law prohibited taking pictures inside casino without the casino's permission. How the U.S. Treasury can recover tax money lost from stealing off the top. In the summer of 1962, I visited the undercover agent of the U.S. Treasury Department. He was one of the half a dozen such agents who were part of the larger investigation tax evasion by certain casinos in Nevada. He told me that certain casinos were taking large sums of money off the top of the blackjack, for example, which would buy chip the table with your money and generally push through a slot in the table lock box underneath. Periodically, the boxes are brought into the counting rooms where they are open, and then the contents are recorded as part of the casino's gross income. According to this, agent common practice is to list the contents of the adding machine tape, recording the number of hundreds and fifties and twenties changed. He's heard some casinos kept an adding machine tapes, one with the true figures, others with greatly reduced figures. Small figures are reported to the government. The difference between the true and gross reported gross escape taxes. I asked agent how he knew about all this. He said that he had undercover agents who were posing as big spenders, gambling conspicuously. They were able to integrate themselves enough to be taken into accounting rooms as part of the guided tour. He said the experienced agent suggested that one of the third winnings were be taken off the top at the time of the grossly declared casino gambling in Nevada was $220 million in 1961 and $880 million when it went for expenses. Taxes would be about $10 million on the $40 million net, leaving a profit of about $30 million, but expected $110 million more was being taken off the top. This would mean a true profit of $140 million. Taxes escaping the government would exceed $25 million. The agent had to come to see from two reasons. First, he had others who learned to play by winning the system and had spot cheating. The government couldn't afford to have lose huge sums at the tables just to get tours of the counting rooms. He wanted additional pointers. Second, the agent wondered whether there was a way of proving statistically perhaps the theft of the money over the top of the taking place conferred over the couple of days after I suggested the following scheme. He is the original context, except for the minor changes and clarification most indicated by brackets of my suggestion to the federal government. Operation Money Pump. Introduction. Strong reason to believe that in 1962, the Nevada casino, when counting the drop from the game table, the money that accumulates in the money box under the tables between the collection, the take of the money off the top. This means that in the counting rooms they are set aside the money from the total, and so that the reported gross total is less than the true total. The evidence is in two kinds. First, an agent of the federal government has several times been an eyewitness in the casino counting room. Secondly, the casino expends vast sums which are not covered by the entire in the books, and for items like complimentary girls for customers, mechanics for cheating customers at tables, they get a fraction of the take and a higher daily wage. I've talked to length with one of them. Perhaps the financing in national-wide brackets. What does this extra money that casino spends does not report K come from? Logic suggests it comes from off the top of the casino operation it may be being used to support. In 1961, Nevada casino gross gambling revenue was around $221 million. The next taxable income, around $40 million, was reported. If the casinos were taking more than 1/6 of the top, they have hit an additional potential taxable income of $44 million or more, doubling their supposed net income. Reported $40 million in taxes, down to about $30 million in taxes. On the basis of the evidence cited earlier, it seems likely that the amounts taken off considerably exceed 1/6 of the total. There was a famous muckraker like Lincoln Steffens who, period of 1900 to 1910, exposed the sensational series of magazine article that emerging pattern corruption in big cities, state governments, and autobiographical summarized experience in maximum. Whenever a graph exists from the taking of the people that will arise to take it, the casino can take the money on the top of the impunity to prevent machinery to exist. For there are certain casinos taking off of the hundreds of thousands while taking off of the millions instead. And if by some accident they are caught and the penalties are the same, why not take all the traffic will bear? We propose that the test will either clear the casino charge or will produce a court evidence such strength that the reasonable casino bigwigs can be convicted with the criminal court. On later event, we seems likely that some of the casinos affect with a few convictions should leave the remaining offenders of the casino set with a path of righteousness. Potential gain in income tax should each year pay for the project scores of the times over. The plan was the purpose gamblers selected tables, selected casinos. We would buy chips of $100 bills whose serial numbers had been recorded. The record is not essential to our object, but does have an additional application that will be discussed later in the report. We would play it continuously from one collection to another, recording the total numbers of $100 bills that go into the money box, noting that the number were ours. Current practice is that our casino to record the number of bills, various denominations, and to label the record with a table and shift number. Thus, at the end of the casino tax year, certain of the records that can be checked to see if the money was taken off the top or not. Our evidence is that they're currently taking in the form of $100 bills in a proportion that is increases as the number of $100 bills increases. Thus, our test is specific for the problem. Now, if widely believed the casinos necessarily have a certain percentage advantage over the player at each of the games. A blackjack example, the typical player seems to lose in the long run from 3 to 5% with all amounts of the bets. Of course, he usually rebets his money several times. He generally loses several times the percentage of his original bankroll. This is measured by the casino when it determines how much the drops hold, what of the fraction amount of the player invests in chips won by the casino. If the blackjack is estimated that the casino holds 20 or 30 more percent of the drop, the player loses for the investment of the amount equal to him from above 40 to 10 times the casino edge over him. This is due to the we've mentioned before. In fact, generally rebets his money several times and the house extracts a percentage several times over. It might seem that the pump is $120,000 and several blackjack tables, perhaps $5,000 per table per shift would be adequate, allowing 60 samples. Some $30,000 playing capital would be required and consumed. However, if it had been proven in theory on the gaming tables as 67, 68, and 69, there's winning one strategy for the player at blackjack. This makes it possible to pump at really large amounts of money in the millions or desire were able to the same in $30,000 bankroll, proposed $30,000 bankroll, playing capital, the hundreds of samples of the tangible offer statistically legal and advantage over the smaller number of 60. We propose the team perhaps of 12 agents, some male, some female. Learn the strategy 2 or 3 days training and sufficient and systematically but inconspicuously as possible, pump in very large sums of various casinos. At the end of the tax year, many of the hundreds table shift record cards could then be checked to see if the money was taken off the top. With such a sample size of the money would be taken, it would be certainly show up further, since the people who could count also sign the record cards have then, since the money box was unlocked, they are absolutely liable for taking money off the top. Now, the evidence would probably be stronger from the standpoint of convincing a jury if same individuals were found guilty of several violations rather than only one. Our sample size is designed to make it more likely. As far as I know, Operation Money Pump is filed away in dusty federal drawer. Certain casinos are still taking money off the top, and our national tax collection still does not cover our expenditures. Chapter 12, Science versus Chance.